One of the most frequently asked questions that I'm getting these days regarding Madden is actually, which console do I need to get for Madden 15 and next gen? Here at the Madden Lab, we always focus on Madden only. We don't talk about other games. We don't do anything like that. So I'm going to go outside the box a little bit. I'm going to talk about consoles, but I'm going to talk about consoles strictly looking at Madden. So we're not going to think about which system has better games. We're not going to talk about which system has better this or that for anything else unless it has to do with Madden. Because that is a question that I'm getting a lot. I only play Madden for the most part. That's one game I play. And a lot of people are asking, hey man, like, which system is going to have the better competition? Which system is going to have, the Madden Challenge on it? Asking these opinions. I can't answer those things. But what I can tell you is, in my experience so far, because I've had both consoles since the first day they came out, is what I think of each little feature and each detail pertaining to Madden. So we're going to go over that here real quick. This is going to be, I don't even know how many part series it's going to be, but always check the link or the description for links to all the parts, especially if you're late. If you're watching this in July, I'm definitely going to have the series done, so check the description for all the links to part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever, however many we have. So I guess we're going to get started with the controller. The controller is one of the most important parts of the console because that's what we hold in our hands when we're playing Madden. So let's start with the Xbox One. Okay, so love the analog sticks. Okay, let's talk about the analog sticks. They're not rubbery. Okay, there's nothing that's going to fall off. It's got a nice grip right around the edge. It's got a nice little kind of dip in the middle of it, so your thumb can fit nice in there, and it definitely feels good. It's got a nice feel to it, and the grip just makes it so that your thumb doesn't slip off or anything like that. So that's an A plus, the feel of the analog sticks. Now, not so much an A plus is the plastic feel that the controller has in general. It's very plasticky. The buttons are literally like a glossy plastic. Like, they really do look like plastic more than ever. So not too much of a fan of that. There's not really an issue with them breaking or doing anything, but not really a fan of that. It's just got a plastic feel to it altogether. The one issue that I do have, though, with the Xbox One controller, and when I say that this is an issue, I'm thinking about all you 14, 15, 16-year-olds that live at home and you love playing Madden, and I know you watch my videos. I'm talking about all those people that have girlfriends or wives that sleep in the same room when they play Madden, and the girlfriend's a light sleeper. Believe it or not, the Xbox One controller can wake up the person that's in the room. I had my girlfriend sleep in the same room that I play Madden in a couple times, and when it's 3, 4 in the morning and you're playing a video game and all you can hear is the sound of the controller, you're thinking, man, like, this is going to wake the person up. And I've actually woken my girlfriend up just by the sound of the controller, believe it or not. So let's give you a listen. I'm not going to go crazy, but I'm just going to kind of squeeze the Xbox One controller here real quick. And that's the sound that it makes. It's pretty ridiculous, if you ask me. Next, we're going to talk about the D-pad and the sound the D-pad makes. Again, pretty crazy. It's just plastic all around, through and through. The feel, the squeeze, the analog sticks, the buttons. Sorry, not the analog sticks, I apologize. Analog sticks are great. The feel of it, the buttons, the D-pad, clicky, 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 crazy sounds, not so good. Also, being an Xbox 360 guy, loved the triggers on the Xbox 360 controller. Basically, it was a rounded out at the bottom, like it was a nice round out, so it wouldn't hurt your fingers when you went to go press. Well, when I first got the Xbox One, I could not stand these triggers. Like, literally, it's a hard plastic. Again, with the plastic, it's like a hard plastic that digs into your fingers and kind of bruises it. they don't go down as low as the Xbox 360. So when you first get the Xbox One and you start playing it, you're going to be used to just relaxing your fingers and just kind of like pulling in the triggers. You can't really do that on the Xbox One. You can't relax your fingers for the triggers. You kind of have to really hold them up high, and if you don't and you just kind of relax them, you're going to be pulling in triggers and digging that plastic right into your finger and giving yourself a bruise type feeling. That's my experience from it. I hated it at the beginning, but I will say that I have adjusted, and I can now hold it at the top. I just don't like that it's just not relaxed. You know what I mean? Like, now muscle memory has, you know, made the situation a lot better. It doesn't feel like I'm forcing anything, but at the same time, I did like the fact that it's just like, you know, you can relax on that Xbox One controller. Can't hear, man. That plastic thing is nice and hard and really digs in you. So plasticky controller that makes a lot of noise, but the analog sticks are fabulous. Except, this is actually my third Xbox One controller. And by third, I mean I have two here because I like to lab in practice mode. So I do have two, and I had to return one already. In fact, I had to return one before I had to return one of my PlayStation 4 controllers. Now, keep in mind that the systems came out in November and December, and we are only in June, okay? So I've already had to replace an Xbox One controller. Now, when I play Madden, I'm a bit of a spaz with the controller. One of the things I loved in NCAA was the camera lock. But unfortunately, it was a nightmare because when I play defense, I get real aggressive with my setups. And then, especially when I would make all my setups and then I try to grab my safety or linebacker and then come down closer to the line of scrimmage, so many times I would click in and player lock my player. And that would be so annoying because I'd just be trying to play defense and it would click in and the camera would turn around. Well, on the Xbox One, the issue that I have is that when I click in the controller, it stops my player. So basically, I push either to the right when I want to, like, or the left, whatever, and then when I try to push up, it's like I'm pushing down and forward very aggressively, and I was able to do that no problem on the Xbox. I'm able to do that on the PlayStation 4 controller, no problem. But on the Xbox One, when I do that, it kind of clicked and broke it, and I had to return the controller. So then I'm like, okay, well, I guess I was crazy on that one play and I just happened to break it. So then I got a new one and I've been playing Madden and I didn't break it, but now I'm doing the same thing and my player's stopping. I'm running a buck sweep to the right and all of a sudden my player just stops or slows down in slow motion. I'm like, what the hell? And I realize it's because I'm aggressive on the stick. So if you're aggressive like me, that is definitely going to be a problem for you. That's a big problem, though. You know, who wants to be mid-play and have that happen to them? So there you go. That is the Xbox One controller and everything that I think about it. Now we're going to go to the PlayStation 4 controller. And at first, you know, because I was an Xbox 360 guy, I was used to that platform. I was used to the D-pad being down low instead of up high. One analog stick up, the other analog stick down. So I come over to the PlayStation and it's a different grip. It feels smaller, which I didn't like at first. You know, basically just the entire feel of it. I didn't really like the triggers or anything like that just because, I don't know, they're very small. Like, it's more relaxed now. You know, you're always going to get used to everything, right? So some of the early complaints that I had about the PlayStation 4 controller, I don't really mind right now. Specifically, when I first started playing, because the analogs are rubber, and the more you play, the more if your fingers get sweaty, or even not, just the oil from your thumbs in general. I'd be rolling out with my quarterback, or I'd try to escape, or try to, you know, do a long run. Any play that lasted more than 10 seconds, my thumb was going to be completely off the analog stick, and it was annoying. I screwed up so many plays because of it. I was very frustrated with the controller early on, and that was like, man, I couldn't wait to get back to the Xbox One because of it. That was a situation I was like, oh my god, this controller is brutal. I can't even control my thumb slipping off. But you get used to stuff, and it doesn't really happen that much anymore. I think basically it's just because my muscle memory has told me to understand that my thumb's going to slip off if I control it a certain way. So maybe I'm not as aggressive on this controller because of it. But, you know, I can definitely, you know, the whole issue with being aggressive and clicking down and moving forward, not an issue at all on the PlayStation 4 controller. The sound of the controller, let's squeeze the controller like I did the Xbox One. Here we go. As you can see, no sound whatsoever. Now let's use the D-pad on the PlayStation 4. No sound whatsoever. So if that's an issue for you, like I said, if you got people in the same room and they're trying to sleep, that controller, man, is loud as heck on the Xbox One. It's not on the PlayStation 4. So the buttons, not plasticky. They're more, well, they're plastic, but it doesn't feel like super plastic. I mean, it's got a nice feel to it. It's basically like the PlayStation 3 DualShock controller. You know, I could talk about the pad and everything, but that has to do with other games. It's not really an issue. The controller's a little bit lower. It feels good. It doesn't have a plastic feel to it. I love it. So as of right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, man, you know, he loves the he loves the PlayStation 4 controller a lot better than the Xbox One. But not so fast, because unfortunately, I am on my 5th PlayStation 4 controller. So I am basically at a crossroads here between these two, and this is why I chose to cover this as the first thing when you're choosing your console, because you can deal with a plasticky controller. If you're not aggressive on the controller like me, I would say that the Xbox One controller is a really nice controller. If you can handle the fact that it's very plasticky and noisy, Xbox One controller you're probably really going to love, because the analog sticks are superb. You're not aggressive with it, so you're not going to deal with the issue I had. You don't really care about the sound. You don't care about that plastic. You're going to love it. You're going to love it. You get the PlayStation 4 controller, and yeah, you might like it for a lot of the same reasons, you know. But the analog sticks, man, that rubber on there comes off like you wouldn't believe, and that is why I'm on my 5th controller. I have 2 here, and I've traded 3 in already. And like I said, I've only had this for 7 months. So I've had to return it. Now, initially, when I was returning it, I got a warranty from GameStop. Basically, it costs $8, and anytime I need to replace a controller, I can go in and replace it. So I thought, hey, this is great, man. 1-year warranty. Buy the controller for $70. Now I don't need to keep going in and buying $70 controllers, because I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to have to. You really are going to have to. And if you're thinking it's because I'm aggressive with the sticks on the left analog, it's happening to both. I barely use the right analog. You know, I mean, I move with the left, right? Both are ripping off. By the time I go to trade them in, both analogs have completely torn a hole right in it, and it's really annoying. So, you know, a lot of people really kind of go, oh man, that PlayStation 4 is a lot cheaper. You know, you don't have to buy the Kinect and this and that for certain things to work, so it's been selling a lot better. A lot of people are buying it. But is the PlayStation 4 really cheaper? Because even though I did have to trade in my Xbox One controller, that might have been a fluke, it might not, it might happen to me again, but at the end of the day, I still am on my 5th controller on the PlayStation 4 compared to my 3rd on the Xbox One. That stuff just comes off like you wouldn't believe, and that is a huge issue. So as much as I love the PlayStation 4 controller now because of the fact that it doesn't feel plasticky, it doesn't make a lot of noise, and it feels good, and you know, there's some other things about it that I do like for other games, but we're not going to get into that. Man, that's tough. Money or quality or what? Like, what do you take? I don't know. I really don't know. So the only thing I want to do is give you guys as much information as I can and tell you all the differences about the controller. But I promise you, you're going to be spending money on these controllers on the PlayStation 4. So you're going to have to decide. I will tell you that I'm going to post a link to a video that I saw on YouTube for an adapter that's going to allow you to use any controller on your Xbox One or PlayStation 4. It's basically a USB thing. You stick your controller in it, and I think you might have to have it wired, though, unfortunately. But if you love the Xbox 360 controller or you love the PlayStation 3 controller, you're definitely going to want to get that adapter to use that. Anyway, that's part one. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We're going to be doing a lot more parts in the future, discussing different things about these next-gen consoles. I'll see you guys next time.